Hello, my name is Paul and this is Missy, and together our channel is Posture Pilates. So today I'm going to guide you through an intermediate session on the Reformer. This intermediate session will consist of standing spinal mobility, single leg footwork, a few shoulder bridge variations, side kick with circles, a few exercises of the mid-back series with added single leg stretch and abdominal crunches, on the long box, a swan dive prep, arms pulling straps, plow and aeroplane, and to finish some lower limb stretches. If you enjoyed today's video, then please consider subscribing and hitting the like button. If you wish to be notified of future video releases, then tap the bell icon below. It's free of charge, it doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us to grow the channel and create more content such as this. Also, if you have any exercises that you would like me to cover, then please leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching and enjoy. Please note a thorough breakdown of most of these exercises can be found on the main Posture Pilates YouTube page. We start the session with standing spinal mobility. We begin with roll down. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, segmentally roll down the spine vertebra by vertebra, with soft gentle bent knees and aiming to keep the tailbone under. Inhale, roll up the spine, allowing the head to be the final lift. Exhale, roll down. Aim to flex the lumbar spine. Think of scooping or hollowing the abdominal wall as you lower. Inhale, roll up. Avoid keeping the legs straight, knees extended. Maintain a soft, gentle bent knee throughout. Let's perform a balance challenge with toe rise. Exhale and rise up onto the toes, keeping the weight through the balls of your feet, the first metatarsals. Inhale, lower the heels under control. Maintain lumbar pelvic stability throughout. Avoid the back from arching, increasing lumbar lordosis. Moving to side bend, inhale, float the right arm up. Exhale as you laterally flex over to the left. Inhale, windmill change the arms. Exhale, laterally flex to the right. Aim to keep the scapula stabilized as you lift the arm. Also, watch the body doesn't flex forward as you side bend. Perform 2 repetitions on either side before opening the arms out to shoulder height. Transitioning to spinal twist, inhale, prepare. Exhale, rotate the ribcage around to the right, whilst keeping the pelvis facing forward. Inhale, return to the center. Exhale, twist and rotate. Inhale, return to the center. To further challenge the stability, add 3 small pulses to increase the rotation. Allow the head and eyeline to follow the back hand. Lower the arms as we move on to the Reformer for single leg footwork. I'm choosing to work with 2 red springs, however this could be performed with 1 red and 1 blue. With the spine in neutral, place the balls of the feet onto the foot bar before floating the left leg up to tabletop position. We start with 1 leg bent. Inhale, extend the hip and knee, pressing the carriage out. Exhale, flex the hip and knee, returning the carriage in. Inhale, extend out. Exhale, return in. Maintain constant alignment in both legs through hips, knees and ankles. Transitioning to bicycle, exhale, flex the right knee and hip, simultaneously extending the left leg over the foot bar. Inhale, extend the hip and knee, drawing the left leg back to tabletop position. Exhale, reach over the foot bar. Inhale, return to tabletop. Maintain the pelvis in neutral and level during the reciprocal work of the legs. Do not allow for any lateral tilting or rotational movement. Let's now perform these 2 same exercises on the opposite leg. Inhale, press the carriage out. Exhale, return the carriage in. Keep the right knee directly over the alignment of the hip joint whilst maintaining the tabletop position. Exhale, extend the right leg over the foot bar. Inhale, draw it back to tabletop. Keep the supporting heel relatively still in space. Do not allow it to drop as you press out. Coming back to the right leg, place the single heel onto the foot bar with the left leg extended over. Both ankles are dorsiflexed with legs parallel. Inhale, extend the right knee and hip, keeping the left leg straight. Exhale, flex the right leg, keeping the left leg static. This could be performed with the right leg in either internal or external rotation to challenge the pelvic stability. Inhale, lift the left leg to vertical. Exhale, lower the leg with control. Inhale, plantar flex. Exhale, dorsiflex. Aim to keep the left leg straight, hip grounded, and the spine in neutral. Let's perform both of these exercises on the opposite side. Inhale, extend the left hip and knee. Exhale, flex the hip and knee, maintaining the right leg held in extension. When working in single leg, always watch for correct tracking of the hip, knee, and ankle joints. Inhale, lift the right leg to vertical. Exhale, lower with control. Plantar flex the ankle coming up, dorsiflex the ankle going down. Perform 6 to 8 repetitions before we move on to shoulder bridges. Always lower the headrest down whilst bridging. I'm choosing to stay on 2 red springs here. Inhale, prepare. Without moving the carriage, exhale and segmentally articulate the spine off the carriage until the hip joint is extended and the lumbar spine is in neutral. Exhale, extend the knees to press the carriage out. Inhale, flex the knees to return the carriage in. Exhale, press out. Inhale, return in. Allow the pelvis to naturally lift and lower to maintain a neutral alignment from the shoulders to the knees. Perform 4 repetitions before exhaling as you articulate the spine back down to the carriage, finishing in neutral. To increase the challenge, we will now add alternate tabletop leg. Exhale, articulate the spine away from the carriage. Inhale, stay. Exhale, float the right leg to tabletop, maintaining pelvic alignment and stability. Inhale, replace the right heel back to the foot bar. Exhale, float the left leg to table. Inhale, replace the heel to the bar. Exhale, plantar flex the foot. Inhale, dorsiflex the foot. Perform 2 repetitions on each side before exhaling and pressing the carriage out, inhaling and returning the carriage in. Engage the glutes and hamstrings to lift the pelvis. Exhale, articulate the spine back down to the carriage. On our final shoulder bridge, leg extensions. Exhale, roll up the spine. Inhale at the top. Exhale, float the right leg to tabletop before extending the knee joint. Inhale, flex the knee and replace the heel to the foot bar. Float the left leg to table. Extend the knee. Inhale, flex the knee and replace the heel. Aim to keep the thigh, femur, still as you extend and flex the knee joint. Perform 2 repetitions on either side before once again exhaling, pressing the carriage out, inhaling, returning the carriage in. Watch the knees don't swing out slightly. Maintain strong tracking throughout. Roll down the spine before we move forward to side laying, single foot into the strap, side kicks and circles. Place a large block onto the headrest and come laying onto your side. Take hold of the front long strap and place your top foot in. Press the leg straight and allow the underneath foot to rest onto the frame. I'm going to work with one red spring, but this could be one blue. We start with bend and stretch. Maintaining lumbar pelvic stability and a dorsiflex foot, inhale and flex the top hip and knee to roughly 90-degree flexion. Exhale, extend the hip and knee until creating a plumb line position from the heel to the crown of the head. Inhale, flex the hip and knee. Exhale, extend the hip and knee. Place the top foot just slightly forward of the knee in order to keep the cable either in front or resting against the shin. Perform 6 to 8 repetitions before transitioning to side kick. Inhale, flex the top hip, keeping the knee straight. Exhale, press the leg back, extending the hip joint, keeping the foot plantar flexed. Inhale, flex the hip. Exhale, extend the hip. Keep the leg at hip height throughout. Avoid it lifting and lowering. Maintain lumbar pelvic stability. Prevent the lumbar spine increasing in lordosis as the hip passes into extension. Perform 4 circles forward and round, roughly the size of a football or soccer ball. Maintain pelvic stability. Reverse the action. Exhale, exhale. And finally 4 controlled pulses upwards. To come out, place your underneath foot onto the foot bar and remove your top foot from the strap. Let's repeat this whole sequence on the opposite side. Lay yourself down onto your side with roughly 1 hand width between you and the back of the carriage. Take hold of the front strap and place your top foot into the strap. Place your top hand onto the pelvis to assess the stabilization. Inhale, flex the hip and knee. Exhale, extend the hip and knee. Maintain a dorsiflex foot throughout. If you find the cable keeps going underneath the knee, then bring the foot slightly further forward. Perform 6 to 8 repetitions before transitioning to side kick. With the knee straight, inhale, flex the hip. Exhale, extend the hip. Maintain a plantar flexed foot throughout. Once again, avoid the lumbar spine from increasing its lordosis as the hip passes into extension. Perform 4 circles forward, roughly the size of a football or soccer ball, before reversing 4 circles backwards. Exhale, exhale. And finally 4 pulses upwards with a dorsiflexed ankle. Control the return of the carriage as you take your foot out of the strap. We now move forward to 2 mid-back series exercises with additional single leg stretches and crunches. You may need to lift the headrest back up for correct cervical alignment. I'm going to work with 1 red and 1 blue spring, but it could be done with 1 red and 1 yellow. Lay down slightly away from the shoulder pads and place your hands into the long straps, directly over the alignment of the shoulders before floating your legs to tabletop position. We'll start with arms straight down. Inhale, prepare. With the spine in neutral, exhale and draw the arms down to the side of the body. Inhale, resist the arms back up under control. Exhale, draw down. Inhale, resist up. Think of reaching the fingertips forward as you draw the arms down. Maintain scapular stabilization throughout. Avoid the shoulders from protracting or elevating. Adding single leg stretch. As you draw the arms down, exhale and extend the right hip and knee. Inhale, return the leg to tabletop and resist the arms back to vertical. Exhale, extend the left hip and knee. Inhale, return to tabletop. Maintain the lumbar spine in neutral with a strong core activation throughout. Avoid the abdominal wall from doming. Adding abdominal crunches, imprint the lumbar spine. Exhale, draw the arms down. Extend the right hip and knee, simultaneously lifting the head and shoulder blades away from the carriage for forming a crunch. Inhale, lower the head and neck, resist the arms to vertical and return to tabletop. Exhale, crunch up through the center. Inhale, lower with control. Initiate a slight little head nod, cervical flexion, before performing the abdominal crunch. Perform 4 to 6 repetitions before placing your feet onto the foot bar and having a gentle rock of the knees from side to side to reduce any tension built up around the lower back. Float the legs back to tabletop and open the arms out to the side in line with the shoulder joints. The hands are in peripheral vision. Exhale, adduct the arms into the side of the body with the fingertips reaching forward. Inhale, open the arms back out to the side, finishing in line with the shoulder joint. Exhale, draw the arms in. Inhale, resist the arms out. Watch the arms don't drop or raise too high. Adding single leg stretch. Exhale, extend the right hip and knee. Inhale, return to tabletop position. Exhale, extend. Inhale, return. Maintain neutral spine throughout. Moving the spine to imprint, simultaneously adduct the arms, slide the leg out, and abdominally crunch through the center. Inhale, lower and control. Exhale, crunch up. Inhale, lower down. Please note my shins are a little too high here. The knee joint should be roughly 90-degree flexion. Return your feet to the foot bar. Replace the straps and press yourself up to seated as we move to a swan dive prep on the long box. I'm going to work with the same springs, one red and one blue, but dependent upon the client's shoulder strength, this may need to be reduced. Place the long box onto the carriage with a grip mat on top to prevent any sliding. Facing the foot bar, hold onto the corners of the box and lower yourself to prone, with the chest off the front edge. With the legs adducted and externally rotated, place the heel of the hands onto the foot bar. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, press the arms overhead, moving the carriage out. Inhale, flex the elbows and resist the carriage in. Exhale, press out. Inhale, return in. On the third repetition, maintaining the arms straight, inhale and gradually lift the spine into extension as the carriage glides in. Simultaneously, abducting the legs open with the feet just slightly wider than hip distance apart. Exhale, resist the carriage out as you gradually lower the torso, returning the spine to neutral. Simultaneously adducting the legs. Flex the elbows and repeat the sequence. Exhale, press out. Inhale, return in. Maintain scapular stability. Watch the shoulders don't ride up towards the ears. Keeping the elbows extended, inhale and think of peeling the rib cage away from the box as you move into extension. Watch for elevated shoulders here. Exhale, replace each rib back down onto the box, return to neutral and flex the elbows. Maintain the elbows in line with the wrist joints as you flex and extend. Avoid them from lifting or lowering. As you abduct the legs, squeeze the glutes to maintain the thighs and calves in line. Flex the elbows before lowering the foot bar all the way down. Hold on to the corners of the box and slide yourself off to the side. We now move on to arms pulling straps. Reverse the same prone position with the head now towards the pulleys. We start with plow. Take hold of the cables just above the knot or clips. I'm now working with one red spring, but this could be performed with one blue. Inhale, slide the scapulars down and pull the arms down and back, finishing with the hands at hip level and the palms facing in. Exhale, lower the arms under control, finishing with the hands forward and against the frame. Inhale, draw the arms down and back. Exhale, lower the arms under control. Keep the scapulars stable. Avoid squeezing the rhomboids and pinching the shoulder blades together. Adding thoracic extension. Inhale, pull the arms down and back, simultaneously extending the thoracic spine. Exhale, lower the arms under control, returning the spine to neutral. Inhale, pull the arms back, lift the chest. Exhale, control the arms down, return to neutral. Bring the eye line between the two pulleys. Avoid overextending the cervical spine. Continuing on to aeroplane, take hold of the base of the straps. Reach the arms out to the side at shoulder level and forward into a V shape as far as a slight tension remains across the cables. The palms are facing down. Inhale, pull the arms out to the side, then back towards the hips, keeping the palms face down. Exhale, resist the arms forward, maintaining them at shoulder height. Inhale, draw the arms back. Exhale, resist the arms forward. Keep the palms facing down throughout. Watch the wrists don't turn as you pull the arms in. Adding thoracic extension, inhale, pull the arms in and back whilst lifting the chest. Exhale, resist the arms forward whilst returning to neutral. Avoid extending from the lumbar spine. Think of lifting and scooping the abdominal wall away from the box, keeping the pelvis in neutral. Returning the straps, press yourself off the box to one side, placing the grip mat onto the floor. Place the box away and return the footbar to the top. We finish this intermediate session with lower limb stretches. We start with hip flexor stretch on one yellow spring. Place your left knee onto the carriage with the foot against the shoulder pad. The right foot is on the floor standing on the grip mat. Either with the hands on the foot bar or hands on the pelvis, exhale and press the carriage back, lowering the hip down. Hold, then inhale, resist the carriage in. Exhale, press back, hold, inhale, resist in. Think of tucking the tailbone under, pressing the pelvis forward, increasing the stretch. Moving to hamstring stretch, add the blue spring. Extend the right leg forward with the knee extended and the ankle dorsiflexed. Exhale, press the carriage back. Hold. Inhale, resist the carriage in. Watch the pelvis doesn't open as you press back. Keep both ASIS in line throughout. Perform 3 repetitions, holding the final stretch for a few counts. And the last one on this side, thigh stretch. Bring the right foot back underneath the hip. Take the yellow spring off so one blue remains. Reach back with your left hand and take hold of the left foot or ankle. Exhale, press the carriage back, lowering the hip down, keeping the left elbow extended. Inhale, resist the carriage in. You may require a grip mat or small pad underneath the knee. On the final stretch, flex the elbow, drawing the heel towards the glute. Let's perform these 3 stretches on the opposite side. Starting with hip flexor stretch on a single yellow spring, place the right knee onto the carriage with the foot against the pad, with the left foot under the alignment of the hip. Exhale, press the carriage back and lower the hip down. Hold, then inhale and resist the carriage in. For clients with balance issues, you could hold onto the foot bar. However, aim to keep the torso as vertical as possible. Moving on to hamstring stretch, hold onto the foot bar and extend the left leg forward with the knee extended and the ankle dorsiflexed. Exhale, press the carriage back, lowering the hips down and keeping the pelvis square. Inhale, resist the carriage back in. Exhale, press out, hold, inhale, resist in. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, for this session, thigh stretch. Bring the left foot back underneath the hip. Working with just one blue spring, reach back with your right hand and take hold of your foot or ankle. Exhale, press the carriage back, lowering the hip down, keeping the right elbow extended. Inhale, resist the carriage in. Exhale, press out, hold, inhale, resist in. On the final stretch, flex the elbow and draw the heel towards the glute. Hold for a few counts before resisting the carriage back. This marks the end of this intermediate reformer session. If you enjoyed today's video, then please consider liking, sharing, and following. Also, you can check out some more videos right here.